In palaces where the lanterns glow, where marble halls let secrets flow, a tale is whispered, sharp, untold, of love once warm, now turning cold. Sheikh Hamdan, prince of noble fame, whose verses sing, whose falcons claim a poet's soul, a writer's might, a beacon in the desert night. Beside his heart, she once did stand, a jewel bright in royal hand. Her laughter lit the halls with flame, her whispers sweetly called his name. But time reveals what eyes conceal, and truths emerge that wounds unseal. A shadow grew where light had been, a rift appeared, a crack unseen. She promised faith, she vowed her soul, to guard his name, to keep him whole. Yet somewhere deep, her choices strayed, and trust, once pure, began to fade. The courtiers watched with silent eyes, the kingdom hummed with hushed surprise. For in her heart, a secret lay, that drove his tender trust away. The prince of words, of falcon's flight, felt heavy silence in the night. Her voice grew dim, her gaze unsure, her promises rang less than pure. The shocking reason, veiled in pain, became a song, a sad refrain. Not wealth, not fame, not fleeting crown, but truth betrayed that brought him down. She spoke with half-concealed intent, her letters cold, her visits spent. A distance carved, a subtle lie, that dimmed the starlight in his sky. He watched, he waited, gave her chance, but saw deception in her glance. For once the bond of trust is torn, it leaves the soul bereft, forlorn. His faith, a temple built on sand, collapsed beneath her shifting hand. Though love had roots, though vows were true, betrayal broke what time once grew. Sheikh Hamdan wept, though none could see behind his strength, his poetry. For words of kings can mask the ache, but broken hearts still bend, still break. He rode beneath the desert flame, the falcons crying out his name. And in his eyes, the world could tell, a storm had struck, a darkness fell. The shocking reason none foresaw was not of hate, nor breach of law. It was her silence, cold, unkind, that shattered trust, that chained his mind. For love requires a steady flame, a truth that does not play with shame. Yet hers grew faint, her spark grew small, until his faith was lost to all. The desert winds began to speak of vows once strong, now turning weak. They whispered tales from tower to dune, of love abandoned far too soon. She once had held his tender gaze, and lit his world in countless ways. But now her eyes would drift aside, her words grew sharp, her warmth denied. At banquets grand, in halls of gold, her silence thundered, harsh and cold. And every glance the courtiers knew that something lost was breaking through. The poet prince, with heart so kind, could read the secrets in her mind. For though she smiled, the truth was bare, her love no longer lingered there. He gave her roses, falcons rare, he clothed her soul in tender care. Yet still she walked a path unknown, a queen in name, but not his own. The shocking reason none could guess lay deep in shadows, pain's caress. Not riches gone, nor kingdoms fall, but trust betrayed, the worst of all. A whispered word, a secret kept, a promise broken, oaths unwept. The poet's heart could not withstand deceit now written in the sand. For in her hands the truth grew thin, her choices veiled, her hidden sin. She sought a freedom, wild, untrue, while he remained both just and true. The palace walls, though tall and high, could not conceal her wayward lie. The desert stars bore witness bright to every tear he shed at night. Sheikh Hamdan, proud yet torn apart, felt dagger's edge within his heart. He longed to ask, he longed to know why love had turned to bitter woe. But she, in silence, turned away and left his heart to night's decay. No words were spoken, none confessed, Yet all was clear, her soul unblessed. The world looked on, the story spread of how the prince had bowed his head. Not in defeat, but grief so deep that even kings could barely weep. The shocking reason, sharp as steel, was not her loss, but what he'd feel. For faith once gone can't be returned, and trust once burned can't be unburned. Her hands had held his dreams so near, but let them slip through doubt and fear. And when he saw her love was feigned, his heart grew cold, his soul remained. The falcons cried above the sand, the poets wept throughout the land. For songs of love now turned to pain, a broken trust, a shattered chain. And though his crown still shone with fire, his heart had lost its one desire. The reason shocking, pure, and clear, was losing faith in one held dear. The moonlight wept on marble stone, where once their laughter brightly shone. The echoes of a love once true now vanished like the morning dew. Sheikh Hamdan stood with steady grace, but sorrow lined his noble face. The kingdom saw his silent fight, a poet dimmed beneath the night. Her voice, once music in his ear, now rang with distance, cold and clear. Each tender vow she'd sworn before lay broken, shattered on the floor. He searched for truth in every sign, for reasons lost between the lines. But all he found was veiled disdain, a shadow cast, a lasting pain. The shocking reason hearts now knew was trust betrayed, a love untrue. Not wealth, nor crowns, nor fleeting fame, but honesty that lost its flame. For faith is fragile, built on glass. It shatters when deceits trespass, and once it breaks, no gold can mend. No royal crown, no king, no friend. She tried to hide behind her smile, to cover lies with practiced guile. But eyes of poets, sharp and deep, can see through masks that others keep. He spoke in whispers, soft yet firm. Love is not chains, nor fleeting term, but truth, a bond that will not bend. Without it, love meets bitter end. The desert answered with a sigh. The falcons circled in the sky. The dunes bore witness, stars aligned, to mark the heartbreak of his mind. She walked away, her silence loud, her steps unsteady, yet so proud. And in her leaving, all could see the loss of what was meant to be. The courtiers whispered night and day of why the prince had turned away, but none could guess the depth of pain of love once pure, now bound in chain. The shocking truth became a song of trust betrayed, of right and wrong. It echoed far beyond the land, a tale the world could understand. For even royals, crowned and tall, are human still, and feel it all. Their hearts can break, their faith can die, their souls can weep, their eyes can cry. And so the prince, though strong and wise, let go the dream, let go the ties. His faith in her was gone for good. Though love had tried, it never could. He turned to stars, to falcon's wing, to verses only he could sing. He carved his sorrow into art, a bleeding poem from his heart. And in those lines the world could read a truth both bitter, raw, in need. That faith once lost cannot return. That trust, once broken, will not burn. The woman's face, now veiled in shame, was written down in history's name. Not for her crown, nor jewels rare, but for the love she failed to bear. The shocking reason, clear as day, was trust destroyed along the way. And though his heart had once believed, it now was scarred, it now had grieved. The desert silence told it best, that faith, not wealth, makes love the rest. And once that faith is torn apart, it leaves a scar upon the heart. So let this tale, both sharp and true, be lesson not just old, but new. That trust is more than gold or throne. It makes a love, it builds a home. Sheikh Hamdan's story stands to show what every heart on earth. And so, dear listener, This tale of love and loss reminds us trust is the crown above all treasures. When faith is broken, even kingdoms fall. Broken Heart Sheikh Hamdan's story is not just about royalty. It is about every heart that dares to love. And every soul that learns the pain of betrayal. Sparkles if you felt the depth of these words. Sparkles if this poetry touched your heart. Backhand index pointing right. Don't forget to like, thumbs up, share love letter, and subscribe bell to this channel. For more powerful poetry and untold stories of love, trust, and heartbreak.